Mounting a camera to your airplane can be one of the smartest and most rewarding things you can do in aviation, but it can also be one of the riskiest things if you do it incorrectly. You're quite literally flying a metal machine careening through the sky at 50 to 200 plus miles per hour. A lot can go wrong, but I'm gonna help you avoid that by showing you some of the best ways and some of the worst ways to record your flying. Before we get into the mounting portion of the video, let's start with the camera itself. There are an assortment of action cameras on the market, but I've tested many of them, and in my opinion, if you're looking for a one-camera-fits-all solution, you should be getting the X5 from Insta360. Full disclosure, Insta360 did sponsor this video, but that does not change my opinion of this camera. In fact, I've been flying with the X3 and X4 for years, and I really love those cameras, but this really takes everything to the next level. It's such an improvement in quality and capability that I believe it checks off all the boxes for the perfect flying camera. The X5 is an 8K 30 frames per second 360-degree camera. It's recording every angle at once while you're flying, which opens up a ton of possibilities. It features a triple AI chip for exceptional low light performance and up to 185 minutes of battery life. The major seller to me is the built-in stabilization. I mount mine to the end of a long boom pole that hangs way off my wing and bounces all over the place while I'm flying. That said, all of the technology in this camera, the shot comes out exceptional. It looks so good even though it's all over the place. That's really impressive. And because I'm traveling a lot, I like to edit on the fly as well, which is great because the X5 has a new feature called adaptive tone. This means I'm spending hardly any time color correcting after I film. It comes out looking great from the start. When I'm done filming, I can edit everything on my phone, and of course, if I have a larger project, I'll just upload the files to my computer like normal. So why is this the one camera fits all solution? Mainly because you can set it and forget it. There are several places to mount a camera, and this excels at all of them. It's also a safety thing. You're not worried about whether or not the camera's getting the shot you want because it's recording all of them. Everything around the camera is being captured, so you can just mount the camera to your plane, push record, and forget about it. There is very little preparation needed to get exceptional shots, and of course, once you get into the editing portion, you can export in vertical or use a landscape shot later. It doesn't matter because, again, everything is being recorded. You can choose afterward, which is exactly how much energy you should be putting into recording your flights. If you're super task saturated, that's the last thing you want to be worrying about, which is a camera while you're focused on the actual important part, which is flying. Now, of course, sometimes you're like me and you get task saturated and I accidentally dropped this. The lenses are completely replaceable, which means this camera is going to last much longer and you can feel a lot more confident flying with it outside of your airplane because you can replace the most important parts. If you want to start recording your flying adventures, I've left a link in the description below. But now that we've pinpointed a camera, let's talk about where you could mount the X5 or another action camera to your airplane. Let's start with my highest ranked recommendation, which would be building a mounting system into your airframe. Now, most people are not going to be able to do this, and I totally understand that, but if you are building an experimental aircraft, this is the route to go. This is a through-skin camera mount, which I got from 67 Designs, and I have one on this wing, two on the others to utilize the boom pole, and it is literally drilled and riveted into the ribs of the actual airframe, which it is not going anywhere. The beauty of this is that I can mount it anywhere on my wing and then have a really strong permanent mounting solution no matter how I want to do it. And then of course I've got camera power here. I mean, this is just the beauty of experimental aviation. Though, that said, many of you are not flying experimental aircraft. So, what are your options? Well, you might utilize something like this. This is a bolt and clamp style mount. You can see that more or less some washers, there's a bolt that slides through something, and then you have a cotter pin to prevent it from falling out, which is hugely important in aviation. You do not want this thing ending up off of your airplane mid-flight. Now, even though these are great, you are going to be limited into where you are mounting them. For example, on a tie-down ring, which actually makes these quite good for low-wing aircraft because you are a little more limited than a high wing, which has a strut to deal with. But you typically will see these mounted on each of the tie downs or even on the tail tie down of the aircraft. That said, if you have that high wing airframe, you'll see I have a mount here that is going directly onto the strut of my RANs. Now, these are just, it's super nice because you can essentially clamp with some rubber and these specialized clamps onto the strut, You can change the location of it, and it opens up the opportunity to use a boom pole on a certified aircraft. That just makes things really nice. And again, these are not going anywhere, just super, super well attached to the airframe. Now, let's say in your case, the shot is a little bit more important than the security of the camera, which I don't highly recommend, but my second option for mounting would be one of these adhesive sticky camera mounts. Now, these do work quite well. They're very strong. I mean, this is like a 3M sticky tape here. They can go anywhere. You choose somewhere on the wing and you throw this onto it. It can go, honestly, my recommendation for interior shots, it can be great because you can mount it on the ceiling and you're less worried about it falling off, but even on the outside of the airframe, it can work. That said, you are relying on this adhesive quite a lot. I mean, with the sun, time, weather, all sorts of different changes in temperature, adhesive isn't perfect, and you're gonna stick that on and it could still come off and take your camera with it. I recommend if you do this option, you should be checking it frequently, at least every 100 hours and annual inspection, but probably even more frequently than that to make sure that this isn't going anywhere. But it is a great solution for those who maybe can't utilize the tie-down rings to put a camera. And the final option is a suction camera mount. And in my opinion, you should never be using these on the outside of an airplane. Why? Well, they are entirely reliant on pressure. You know what generates lots of different pressures? The exterior of an aircraft, especially the wings. Pressure is changing dramatically in different portions of flight. And there's just a high chance of this coming off of the airframe. That said, these do make great camera mounts for the inside of an airplane. Awesome for windows, as long as it's a place where you know that it's going to be safe, even if it does fall off. They're great, but they're not perfectly reliable. I wouldn't use these unless you know exactly what you're doing and you can put it in a place where it's not going to cause a problem down the road. And there you have it. Now you can mount a camera to your airplane and record your flying experiences. Honestly, if done safely, it's one of the best ways to review footage, improve your flying, share aviation with your friends, or just document your flying experiences. If you like this video, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for coming along.